Trump 2020, Bruce LeVell. Bruce, it's great to see you. Bruce, I'm kind of like, I was like grinding my teeth while watching this interview because it's lies, 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 and they go unchallenged.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Steph. Well, it's interesting how Kamala forgot about the debate that she had and when she was when they were in the primary, and how she called out Biden's racist past from top to bottom. Now, all of a sudden, she's trying to pivot back over to create another false narrative on the president of the United States, which, quite frankly, as they say here in Georgia, the dog's not going to hunt anymore, Stephanie. And, it's interesting because they really haven't had any plan except for coming out saying how much they don't like the president, which is sad. This is why they're losing a lot of the minority votes over to the president, because of this type of behavior.
Yeah. And then again, she says that he refuses to condemn white supremacy and this and that. And there's like actual video footage of this dating back since the year 2000. It's out there, but people are so lazy or they're just dishonest. But we have it. Roll tape.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
I'm not looking. Would you repudiate David Duke?
Sure.
David Duke and robocalls are out again. The white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow. I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
And I don't mind disavowing anybody, and I disavow David Duke.
You had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
So you get the point. This video goes on and on and on. It was put together by the Media Research Center, so hat tip to them. But it's really incredible that this gets lost in the conversation. It doesn't fit their narrative. They want to push it. They use the racism stuff as an easy button. They use it to shut down conversation. But, when it comes to President Trump, he was never called a racist until he decided to run as a Republican. Now that's all they have. And then they don't want to look at the numbers, the statistics, and what he's actually done since he's been president, what his administration has done for the minority community, for Black community, for Hispanics. They don't want to look at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie.
No, they don't, Stephanie. They really don't. And here's the other thing, too. Let's not forget that this president, back in 2015, brought in, and I was very privileged and happy to be a part of this, of building one of the largest diversity council coalitions in a Republican candidate's history, and which you saw that in 2016, he delivered the third highest Black voter turnout in the nation's history. And watch this on your show. Right here, first time he's saying this, he will deliver the highest Black voter turnout in the nation's history here coming Tuesday in 2020 election. So, the numbers don't lie, Stephanie. You're absolutely right. The other thing, too, is that he's had a tremendous amount of relationships. You got to remember, the president's been out in the media for over 40 years. And remember, 1989, y'all YouTube this, Oprah Winfrey was actually trying to encourage him to run for president on her show, knowing we need, and the very thing that he said back then is what he said now about how we're losing trade and et cetera. Been on Bobby Brown videos, Home Alone videos, friends with Ice Cube, Ice-T, everybody. Then all of a sudden he puts his name on the ballot. Now they're trying to create this race narrative. It won't hunt anymore, Stephanie, unfortunately, but that's the only playbook the Democrats have.
Yeah, they all wanted a piece of Trump. They all wanted to be friends with him. They all wanted to be on his shows. And the Democratic lawmakers that have been there since before I was born, they all wanted his money. So it's kind of weird. They're like, he's a racist, but they're going to take his money. And he's pointed that out many times. And I always think it's really hilarious. And they really don't have anything to say for it except for, oh, it's politics. We'll take money. So you had pointed out this, and I saw this article on 538. I don't know how much I believe about this because 538 got the 2016 election totally wrong. But I think you have a point here. It says Trump is losing ground with white voters, but gaining among Black and Hispanic Americans, specifically males, as you pointed out. And then we see, not that it makes that big of a difference, but it is interesting to see some of these people like Ice Cube, the rapper, and others coming out in support of President Trump. Not necessarily his campaign. Ice Cube has made it very clear that he's not trying to be political. He just wants to actually do something for the Black community, and he wants a voice, a seat at the table, if you will, and he wants to make a difference rather than just preaching to people what to think and how to vote. He wants to be part of that, and he's been criticized. He's still being hit on social media for working with the Trump administration on bettering the Black community.
Yeah, Stephanie, here's the other thing, too. I actually talked to a lot of these folks you're mentioning behind the scenes respectfully. And, with the cancel culture out there, it's very harsh sometimes for especially a well-known person, actor or what have you, that come out because they know what type of cancel culture is out there. However, the component here is in terms of 30.6 million small businesses, for an example, small portion, almost obsolete in a lot of cities in black communities are an absent of retail commodity business owners, Stephanie. The president saw this back in 2015, not so much as obviously bringing jobs to the minority community, but hey, build your infrastructure, build your retail commodities. I've often said that this president under the Platinum Plan will, quote, resurrect and create black generational wealth unlike you've never seen before. If you're in a predominantly black community, if you want to live wherever you want to live, God bless you, but at least have access or have ownership in the grocery store or the convenience store or, a lot of the retail commodities that are not owned by black Americans in there. And this is what Cube is talking about. This is what I've been saying for many years as a black business owner here in Atlanta, a very successful one at that for 27 years, commodity business owner, is that there is a void in that. And the president saw that. So with this great Platinum Plan, this addresses that disparities as it relates to a void in black wealth and absent of retail commodities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking here online right now at Joe Biden's plan. It says, lift every voice, the Biden plan for black America. And as President Trump pointed out in the debate, why didn't he do that in the 47 years that he held office, or at least the 8 years that he was vice president?
Yeah, Stephanie, here's something very profound right here. Everyone always has to remember about the president is that he ran on a platform in 2015 promising to not take money from special interests and pay to play. Now, we're dealing with this unraveling. The swamp, by the way, respectfully, is on both sides and middle sides of the aisle. And the president came in there. He doesn't owe all these promises. So essentially, Joe has been owned for 47 years. So it cripples him to do anything that has any structural policy that can help lift America, let alone black communities. So he's owned, bought, and paid for. And we see what's unraveling in the last several weeks as it relates to that.
Yeah. I just still can't get over Biden's comments a few months ago where he says, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. It was so disgusting. He says really stupid things, and I know that didn't sit well with a lot of people. Well, we're totally out of time, Bruce. Thank you.